What's up, everyone? Today we're going to tie a Prince Nymph. We're going to tie it on a 633 fire hold, size 14, which is traditional nymph hook style. You can substitute whatever size you want. I'm going to be using a gold 3.0 tungsten bead. And to pair that with the gold, I'm going to use some Uni-French extra small gold. That will be for our ribbing. For thread, I use the 12-aught Semperfli. You can substitute that with UTC, color of choice. Sometimes red's a good color for a little hot spot. For our goose biots, we're going to have brown and white. I'm going to use a hackle from a lower grade neck of brown. And then, of course, we have our peacock curls. If you're not familiar with our videos, you can click subscribe. You'll get notifications when we put up new tutorial videos. We do some, obviously, fly tying. We do knot tying, and we do just fishing videos and tips. So give us a follow. Thanks. All right, the Prince Nymph, not a easy one. Important fly and important techniques to get under your belt, but definitely challenging. So here I've taken our brown biots, and you can either do this by catching in a single biot at a time, or lining up the biots with the tips with the curvature going in opposite directions, and then you can catch both in at the same time. A little tricky to get the length right. We're going to wrap all the way forward and clip off our biots, keeping a nice even profile. And then taking our peacock curl, we are going to catch it in at the bead to maintain a nice even profile. We're going to grab our oval tinsel here, catch that in as well at the bead, keeping the nice profile, wrapping all the way back. Bring the thread all the way forward. Turn the fly upside down so we can get by the hook point. Don't scrape it and break any fibers. And we wind forward all the way to the bead. Lock that off with a few thread wraps in front and behind. Clip off our excess. At this point, we're going to go back to turning the fly upside down, and we're going to wrap our oval tinsel forward with nice spacing. A few thread wraps in front and behind. Go ahead and clip off the excess oval tinsel. So Prince Nymphs, it's a great generic fly. Really good for stone flies or Isonychia. Really good fly. So this is a bit of a tricky part. We're going to take our white biots and we're going to line the tips, and we are going to V them so that they're just split a little bit. And here we want to tie the tips forward with the curvature. When I bend these biots back, the curvature is actually going down towards the tails. That's the way you want to tie this in. And it's a little tricky to get your length, but we're going to go ahead, throw in a few thread wraps above and behind the biots, and then we're going to clip them. Again, I'm using a real small thread here, a 12-aught, and I can get away with more thread wraps because of that. If you're using a 70 UTC, you're going to use less thread wraps. So at this point, I've selected a hackle of correct proportions, and we're going to tie that in and throw in a half hitch. Hopefully we'll have a video up soon on half hitching for you guys. And we're throwing our thread in the bobbin cradle. And then with hackle pliers, we're going to go ahead and palmer on our hackle. And we're going to try to sneak in a thread wrap behind, 2, and then in front, 2. Be careful not to break the stem of your hackle. We're going to cut it. Now we're going to fold back our biots. And if you can, you want to almost bend them to the point where when we throw our thread wraps in front of the hackle, we catch the biot so that it locks it down and it's not popping straight up. Again, I'm using way more thread wraps than you would use if you were using a thicker thread. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick whip here, either by hand or with your whip finish tool. Go ahead and cut our excess thread. And then we can manipulate the biots if need be. Just be careful that you don't bend the tails, because they are somewhat delicate. And that's pretty much it.